9 a.m. and I'm going to ask if we stand for an invocation and pledge of allegiance. May we bow in an attitude of prayer. Gracious Heavenly Father, we say thank you for the night of rest. Thank you for this opportunity to be present this morning and to serve others. Lord, lead, guide, and direct us, we pray, that all that we do and say honors and glorifies you. Lord, we have two things this week. This is National Salvation Army Week, and we just lift up the Salvation Army. They're faith-based and all the things that they do for not only our community, but across the nation and around the world. The Salvation Army is instrumental in serving others first and foremost. Lord, we also pray today is a special day for Motorcycle Safety Week. We pray for bikers everywhere, not only in our community, but across the state of Maryland and nationally, and ask for motorists to be mindful and careful as the motorcycle season is upon us. Lord, thank you for this day. Lead, guide, and direct us, I pray in thy name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We'll officially call our meeting to order for May 14th, 2024. And with that, I'll ask for a motion. We have minutes to be approved for April 23rd.
Motion to approve April 23rd minutes.
Second. Okay, we have a motion and a second for approval. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, 5-0. Thank you very much. Commissioners' reports and comments. Mr. Klein, you want to take off today?
And today, in reflection, today is Motorcycle Safety Week, and I think, Commissioner Moore, you're going to attend an event. But it also brings back to my memory of a gentleman by name, affectionately known as Pappy, Gary Ballard, who has passed away. He was big in the Abate Motorcycle organization here in Western Maryland, and he strongly emphasized safety twice for that motorcycle. So just want to remember Pappy today. This week is also National Police Week. I think tomorrow there's a memorial service that we've all been invited to honor our men and women in blue. I also attended an Eagle Scout ceremony for Dara Patel, Troop 123. The girls' troop over there, and the first 4 founding ladies are now all Eagles. That was a nice event. I also attended the Washington County Police Academy graduation at Kepler Theater on Friday. I also attended the meeting with Governor Moore at the Public Safety Training Center. From all comments, he was impressed with our training center, and breaking news, he said he will do 81. Is that accurate from what we heard? So we'll like to hear that come into, or see that come into completion for that phase. I also attended the Goodwill Horizon Power Work Awards. They annually award some of their employees special recognition for their hard work, and their story is heartwarming and heartbreaking, but very rewarding to see how these young folks have moved along with their life and career. Last week was also Correction Officers Week, and we and several of us attended luncheon, banquet, or picnic out at the detention center, and I want to thank you to the correction officers for their work and the invitation. I did go down to see the Boonesboro Farmers Market. It was their 10th anniversary. I think I may have been to all 10 according to the folks down there, but a lot of credit goes to the volunteers and people in Boonesboro who continues making that farmers market grow. It would have been easy to give up. There's only 2 or 3 vendors, but now it's healthy and strong. Going 10 years, there was 20 plus vendors there. And I did attend the Claire Barton Monument Service. Kudos to all involved, City of Hagerstown, to Mr. Mendez, the sculptor, and all those involved in that committee to help raise that funds. And of course, the commissioners also assisted in that project. That concludes my report.
Thank you.
Good morning. A day late, but since I wasn't here yesterday, happy Mother's Day, and thank God for all the mothers. Yesterday was Mother's Day, and I'm sure everybody celebrated for living and deceased mothers, so I'd like that to be acknowledged. Election Day today. If anybody hadn't voted, please go out and vote. I did early voting at Smithburg. I wanted to patronize some of the early voting sites at Boonesboro, Smithburg, and Virginia Avenue. And it was a very pleasant experience. Kudos to the Smithburg staff. It was seamless, very friendly, and very helpful. So today's the day for, the regular primary day. As Jeff mentioned, the graduating class of Police Academy 08. It was a nice experience. We need the police. I'll tell you, they had, I think, 13. It was we just need all we can get. And I know they're hard. The police are hard to get, and plus the extra scrutinizing they get to either enter and after they are police officers. So thank you to the academy, thank you to Training Center, and everybody who took part in the training of these cadets who are now sworn officers. Goodwill Horizon Power Works Award, I also attended that with Jeff and John. It was very nice, a lot of heartwarming stories that when they honor their employees and what they do for the community. Governor, as Jeff mentioned, the governor was in town Thursday and Friday. I was at the airport tour and the airport museum and then back to the training center. He seemed to be impressed with the training center. We did have all of us got to do a one-on-one as a commissioner group with county administrator, and all you can do is plead your case. I mean, we obviously one of ours, and Michelle might have a better update, was I-81. So as Jeff said, he says we're going to get this done. Now, I guess that means it's going to happen, but let's see what the time frame is. Let me see. But anyway, we got to get in his ear about it, and it was okay. I think that is correctional officers and the employees week. We did have the lunch in there. I want to thank everybody out at the detention center and the sheriff's department for having a nice cookout and nice turnout and being gracious host to inviting us to come out there. I think that's it.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Wagner? Commissioner Harvey?
Good morning. Thank you, President Barr. And I would also like to acknowledge Peace Officers Memorial Day coming up Wednesday, and I think we're all going to be there, but it's National Police Week, which honors and remembers those that are fallen in the line of duty serving our communities. And it's important for us to recognize those law enforcement officers, their families, their survivors and friends, and pay homage to those who lost their lives in the line of duty. So that's why this week is so very important. Election Day, yes, Randy, it's really important. Everyone needs to get out and vote and participate in our system of government. There are city councilmen, mayor positions, school board positions, congressional, as well as U.S. Senate up for election today. And the polls are open till, I believe, 7 o'clock tonight. Plenty of places to go, 44 precincts or so. So please show up and vote. Make note that if you're voting electronically, some of the candidate lists go over 3 pages. So, if you're on the 3rd page, you're hoping that people wait until when you're choosing 3 or 4 out of 11 or 12. You should look at everyone on the list before casting your vote and making those determinations. Military Appreciation Month continues, and at the end of this month, Memorial Day weekend with a parade in Sharpsburg and a parade in Boonesboro. Looking forward to seeing people there. I plan on driving my military vehicle in both of those parades. This month, from Mother's Day to Father's Day, the time between those 2 dates is Natural Family Month, okay? Family is vitally important. It's been a foundation of all societies throughout our history. Celebrating and supporting the maintenance of strong families is very important to supporting and sustaining strong communities. It's important for success for children in schools, Strong families with good values help reduce crime. It's a bonding element and a foundational element of any strong society. So celebrating Family Month between Mother's Day and Father's Day, is something that I recognize, and I hope everyone else focuses on. Commission on Aging, I attended a Commission on Aging meeting last week for the Advisory Council. We went over the area plan for the coming fiscal year, programs, budget, and personnel. And this Friday, the full body of the Commission on Aging with the board as well as the Advisory Council and others are going to be attending the annual plan review at the Commission on Aging site. And Wayne, you are a member of the board, and appreciate your service there. Related to the Commission on Aging, but not exactly, is I'd like to mention a group in our community that does some good work in some niche areas. It's called the Elder Group. It's led by Charles Peak and his sister Teresa Peak, and they work on providing information and education about elder abuse, and their concerns about vulnerable adults as well as vulnerable persons with disabilities of any age that can be subject to abuse, neglect, or being exploited. And they do some good educational programs and some outreach and some support. They also provide food, and meals. And we have several different groups in our community that do offer different meal programs in niche ways that supplement what the Commission on Aging is doing. If you're interested, you could take a look at the Elder Group's page. They have a web page, and they're also doing their annual fundraising right now. Governor Moore's visit was very good. We did bring up issues about immigration impacts on education, Kerwin funding, affordable housing, 81. It was an interesting session. Thank you to, I'd say thanks to him for coming and taking a look at our facilities and hearing our issues here. And with that, the last thing I'd like to say is happy birthday to Israel. It's their 76th birthday today. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to touch a little bit on the election as well. Polls are open. They already opened at 7 a.m., but I believe they're open till 8 p.m., just so 1 extra hour for those people maybe getting off work. I was a poll worker for many years. I also served on the Board of Elections. Just like to thank the poll workers, people at the election board. This is a long day, and a couple days this week will be a long day too. Counting ballots, canvassing, certifying the election. Just thanks to those poll workers, in my experience, people came, it was feast or famine usually. People would rush in to vote before work. Maybe they have a half hour or an hour on their lunch break. They rush in the noon hour, rush in after work, or rush in after dinner. So the poll workers will hopefully be busy today, and that'll be a good thing, but a strain on them for sure. I'd like to thank the candidates who are putting themselves out there today for office, and the voters who are showing up today. That makes, as Commissioner Harvey said, democracy work when people show up to vote. So I'd just like to, thank our Board of Elections, the poll workers, the candidates, the voters, and that's my only comment for today.
Yeah. Thanks for reminding us about that, Wayne. And as I look into the audience, I see Dave Williams, and I saw a lot of other people out at precinct sites putting up signs and posters and things. A lot of people support these candidates. It's a really important day to those candidates, their families, and all their supporters. So, really appreciate everyone that's put their, entered into the public arena. And thank you for your courage in doing so. It's not an easy thing.
Thank you. Yes, as you can tell, it's been a very busy week. A lot happening, a lot of good things in our community. Yep, it is. I'm sorry. It was pushed to the side. A lot of good things happening the past week. We've been extremely busy. The Clara Barton Memorial down at Park Circle is just phenomenal. Speaks very well of the rich history that we have here in Washington County. And I'd also like to add that the governor was not only gracious and courteous to us as elected officials, but Friday morning in particular, at 6 a.m., he was in the training facility working out with the police cadets and did about a 45-minute workout session. And
Yeah, he kicked me out. I wasn't allowed to kick.
he kicked some butt, if you will, with the police cadets. So they were squatting 250 pounds and more. It was interesting to watch. So, but he's very personable, and he showed a lot of respect to the police cadets and those down there at our public safety training facility. Number of things that were mentioned that I participated in, I guess most notably is Meredith Park, several ball games through the soft opening, leading up to this Friday's grand opening, where general admission will be, the gates will be open, and hopefully there's a full house, and it's absolutely gorgeous. It's quite an asset to downtown Hagerstown, and I don't think there is a bad seat in the stadium. I think the architect should get an award, frankly. No matter where you sit in that stadium, it's a doggone good view, good seat. So hats off to everyone that participated in that. It's beyond most people's comprehension that Hagerstown can have such a facility. Another thing that's good for not only Hagerstown but Washington County, yesterday was the ribbon cutting and grand opening of what was formerly known as the Up de Graaf building, sometimes called the Beat Building. I think it's had over its 130 or 40-year history. It's had several different names, but the building was originally constructed in 1882 by the Up de Graaf family, specifically to design and manufacture hats and gloves. And back in those days, I think everyone wore a hat, and it was a very thriving business. First floor will be retail. The upper three floors are, I think there's 22 or 24 very nice apartments. As a matter of fact, three of them they've already moved into. I won't go into who's moved into them, but it might surprise you. They've got commitments for several others, and so they're excited. It's an absolutely gorgeous facility. The views from the upper third and fourth floor are rather unique, and we wish them well. Millions of dollars of investment in a 140-year-old building in downtown Hagerstown. We have a number of things. This week is no different than any other week. It seems like our schedules are jam-packed. I think there's 15 events here on the upcoming events. Potomac Community Services 25th anniversary is today. Character Counts Youth Celebration is tomorrow. Police Week Church Services, which has already been mentioned, is tomorrow. HCC's program of adult literacy recognition and celebration is tomorrow evening. The John Fry Awards luncheon is Thursday. The Chamber of Commerce May Bash is Thursday at 5 p.m. Out on Robinwood Drive. Clear Spring High School Band Concert is Thursday evening at 7 p.m. at Clear Spring High School. There's groundbreaking for the proposed Meredith School of Osteopathic Medicine future student housing complex. That's this Thursday at 5. Commission on Aging, which I think has already been mentioned, is annual meeting is this Friday, the 17th. Camp Harding Park up in Pectonville, 50th anniversary celebration this Saturday morning, bright and early, 8 a.m. up at Camp Harding. It might still be dark up there. HCC graduation this Saturday out at the Ark, and USMH graduation ceremony Saturday at 2 p.m. Big day in Washington County for all these higher education facilities with graduation, so there'll be a lot of activity and celebrations here this weekend. Hagerstown Startup Week is next Monday, May the 20th, and following up is the MML dinner, Hancock, on Monday evening also at 6 p.m. And I guess the big thing is tomorrow evening is the annual evening budget hearing for the public, and that is tomorrow evening, May 15th at 6 p.m. And a note of change for everyone. Historically, it's been held at the Kepler Theater. It is, this year is being held at the Public Safety Training Center down on Sharpsburg Pike. So everyone make note of that. That is a change, and we can show off the new public safety training facility there to the public. So, miss anything, gentlemen? We good? And before I move on, I will turn the microphone over to Vice President Klein here about 9:45. I will be attending the Motorcycle Safety Week down at the MVA. I've been asked to, as a motorcyclist, to not only speak but present a proclamation from the county. So I look forward to doing that. With that, hearing no other comments, we'll move right into citizens' participation, and whoever wants to go first. Oh, I'm sorry. I did skip over that. I apologize. Staff comments. Chip, you're up first.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Chip Rose, Director of Human Resources.
Jason Miller, Benefits Coordinator for Washington County.
Commissioners, I have two administrative items for you and then one group discussion item. And the first two are easy. The staff would like to request approval to hire Anthony Napoli, our new Director of Transit. The offer was for grade 17, step 10, and a salary of $98,946 annually.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have,
To Commissioner Harvey.
okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. 5-0. Thank you.
Staff also requests approval to hire Kelsey Keedle, our new business specialist for agriculture, hospitality, and tourism. The offer was for a grade 14, step 1, at a salary of $62,920 annually.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for approval. All in favor by saying aye.
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 Opposed? 5-0. Thank you.
The next thing that you have is scheduled for 11 o'clock.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Excuse me. We'll come back at 11 then.
All right, thanks.
Okay. Okay, next is Kelsey Mace. Good morning, Kelsey.
Good morning, Commissioners. Kelsey Mace, Chief Financial Officer. Staff and I, along with our financial advisor Davenport, met with the rating agencies on Monday, April 29th. I'm pleased to report that all three rating agencies have assigned our 24 bond issue an AA+ or AA1 rating and affirmed our overall rating of AA+, AA1, citing strong financial management policies and practices, stable financial performance, and low debt service costs amongst the many factors considered. So I just want to take a moment to thank Michelle, our County Administrator, Jonathan, our Director of Business and Economic Development, and Kim, the Director of Budget and Finance, for their contributions that made the meetings a success, and thank the Board as well for their leadership and support. And that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Good report. Okay. Michelle Gordon, Administrator.
Thank you. I attended the dedication and unveiling ceremony for the Clara Barton statue at the newly opened Memorial Park in Hagerstown. The sculpture of Clara Barton giving aid to a wounded soldier following the 1862 Battle of Antietam was created by the renowned Toby Mendez, who is a Washington County native. The event was hosted by the Heart of the Civil War Heritage Area. I also attended the picnic for the correctional officers at the detention center. I'd like to thank the correctional staff and leadership there for inviting us and putting on a great event. I'd like to thank our highways department for removing debris along the bridge on Broad Fording Road. It took a little longer than expected, but it was much needed and they did a great job. I also attended the county's meeting with the governor, where staff provided him with a tour of the airport and the Public Safety Training Center. Additionally, the board and I did meet with him to present and discuss the county's top priorities. Just a few of those priorities included funding for the I-81 widening, highway user replacement, highway user revenue replacement for county roads maintenance, water and sewer infrastructure improvements and a governance study, courthouse replacement bond bill funding, and funding for the Kerwin initiatives. Just want to reinforce that on May the 15th, we are holding our budget hearing at the Public Safety Training Center at 6 p.m., and I would encourage anyone who wants to speak to make sure that you are there. Also on May the 15th from 1 to 3:30 at the Public Safety Training Center, the second of 3 informational meetings developed by our Permits and Inspections Department will be held on the new 2021 building codes and performance standards. I'd like to thank all of our public safety officers, particularly our police department. This is National Police Week, and I'd like to thank them for all the work that they do to protect our community. The next meeting is May the 21st, and that's everything that I have.
Okay. Thank you, Michelle. Okay, now citizens' participation. Anyone? First row, second row? Mr. Williams? Oh, okay. Good morning.
I'm Laurie Krasnowski, 10820 Archer Lane, Williamsport, Maryland, 21795. I'm with the Washington County Commission for Women, a managing partner with the Stonehouse Urban Winery, alumni for Leadership Class 36, and alumni ambassador for the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Program, board member for the Discovery Station. I'd like to update you this morning on the Washington County Commission for Women's events for last month. We had the pleasure of meeting with Lene with the Emeritus Care Call program. She informed us and updated us on this amazing program. It takes 15 minutes once a week for volunteers to reach out to people within the Washington County community that have identified as being lonely. And that's literally what the program does. Meritus has initiated this program for about 3 years. It reaches out to 300 individuals in Washington County. There's about 70 volunteers in the program, everyone from the Meritus's CEO and COO right down to this commissioner and everyone in between. I do have to give a shout out this morning to Miss Kitty. She is my care caller. We've been together on this journey for about a year now, and truly you are richly blessed no matter which end of the phone you are on. It's an amazing program, and the women's commissioners were very excited to hear about the program and how they could get involved in it. It's part of Meritus's reach out to the community with regard to wellness within the community, not just in the hospital or the medical offices. The commission is excited to welcome 2 new women's commissioners. We should be able to share their names next month once they've sworn in. Thank you for your time and for all you do.
Thank you. Thank you.
Morning, Commissioners. Dave Williams, 11 West Water Street in Smithsburg. Since your current budget plans fund the Washington County Public Schools at just 1.01% over last year, which isn't enough to put a dent in inflation, let alone give employees a reasonable pay hike and provide the mental health and behavioral support the kids in the classrooms need, and since the current budget plans still leave too many seniors on waiting lists for Meals on Wheels and other essential services, I'd like to tell you this morning about what the county budget situation could have been. Currently, the projection for local income tax revenue for FY25 is $129.7 million. If our local income tax rate had been 3.2% instead of 2.95%, Washington County would be looking at about $140.6 million in tax revenue, almost $11 million more. Add an additional $6.5 million that the county would have received from the state disparity grant, and the FY25 budget would have about $17.5 million more to help meet the underfunded needs we have in the county. So how much would restoring the income tax rate to 3.2% cost us? If your Maryland net taxable income and that's what's left after all the deductions have been made, if your net taxable income was $30,000, an increase from 2.95 to 3.2% would cost you $75 more a year, or about 20 cents a day. At $60,000, your tax would go up $150, or 41 cents a day. At $120,000, an increase would cost you $300 more, or 82 cents a day. If your net taxable income was lucky enough to be $500,000 per year, an increase from 2.95 to 3.2 would cost you $1,250 more per year, or $3.42 a day, which for many people is less than the cost of 1 cup of coffee a day. At any income level, that's hardly enough of an increase to make someone want to move out of the county. I agree with Commissioner Barr, who said, quote, "I feel like we need to help ourselves and raise the rate," unquote. I'm willing to pay my share. Please return the local income tax rate to 3.2% so we have the funds to better address the needs of the county, and we can take full advantage of the disparity grant for as long as it's available.
Okay. Third row, fourth row, fifth row, top row. Going once, going twice. Okay. With that, we'll,
Bruce Bariano is stuck in traffic, so he's probably going to be 15 to 20 minutes late. So if we can move on to the next item, or maybe we need to take a little break.
can we start the public?
We won't be able to start the public hearing.
It's youth mayor?
We do have Neil here for the fiscal year 25 budget, if we want to move on to that.
Okay. Want to do that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Let's do
Okay.
Neil.
Good morning, Neil Doran, Airport Director.
Kelsey Mace, Chief Financial Officer.
Wanted to give you an informational budget update here. On May 7th, 2024, the Board of County Commissioners held a public hearing regarding the proposed increase in current airport charges, rentals, and fees. Being presented before you today is a modified schedule of rates and charges based upon the feedback received during that public hearing and changes to our budget. The schedule of rates and charges has been modified to remove the proposed fees for common dumpster costs and the other miscellaneous fees except for the terminal ground parking fees. The 4% T-hanger rental charge increase is still being proposed. The modifications do result in a reduction in our reimbursed expense revenue and an increase in the use of our fund balance reserve in the amount of $38,000. The total budget for the airport remains unchanged at $3,715,420. Airport fund is self-supported and will not require general fund subsidy during fiscal year 25. Happy to answer any questions you might have.
No, thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you both.
Michelle?
Chris, no, we can't do the public hearing until,
Do we need to vote on that? Does-
No, it says
no,
no
it's just a consensus
for
to go to the
information.
public hearing. We'll vote on that when we approve the
Do the
budget on the
budget.
21st.
Okay, so we have consensus, we did, obviously, okay. Okay, yeah.
Of the Youth Meritorious Awards. Do
You
have
ready?
everything for that?
Yep. You can do it? Okay, yeah.
Are they all here?
Yes.
They're all here, okay.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Richard.
Richard Lesh, Grant Manager, Office of Grant Management. And this is the Youth Meritorious Award presentation throughout the school year. The Board of County Commissioners present Youth Meritorious Awards to students attending both public and private schools or those being homeschooled in Washington County. The following individuals have been selected based on their scholastic achievement, leadership qualities, community service performed, or other positive contributions to their school and community. These exceptional youths have consistently worked and distinguished themselves as model students. My pleasure to present the following youth for recognition. First one today is Evan Malo. He is from Springfield Middle School. In addition to being on the Distinguished Honor Roll, Evan is a member of the National Junior Honor Society and president of the Leo Club. He has volunteered with many community service organizations like Shepherd's Table, Project Linus, Washington County Needs, and the C&O Canal Community Days. He was named to the All-County Middle School Band and also plays in Springfield Marching Band, concert band, and jazz band. Evan is involved in several groups in his church and committed to his community and his desire to make the world a better place. I present to you Evan Malo.
Thank you. Who has that one?
Yeah, I have that one. Would you have any comments? You'll go far in the world of politics. Springfield Middle School, is that correct? Springfield Middle School has a special place in my heart. My mom was a cafeteria worker at Williamsport and Springfield Middle. Meals were prepared at Williamsport, and I think she drove a van and saw me in the middle of the day and would always wave or toot the horn, but congratulations to you. On behalf of the Board of County Commissioners, we'd like to present the certificate of recognition to Evan. We, the Board of Commissioners, do hereby recognize you for the outstanding achievement of being selected as the recipient of the May 2024 Youth Meritorious Award, Springfield Middle School. Your academic accomplishments, humanitarian efforts, and extracurricular activities are to be commended by both parents and students in Washington County. You have proven to be a superior role model. We congratulate you on your achievement and wish you all the best in your future endeavors. Congratulations again, and this one is yours.
Thank you.
And we have a certificate here for you, Staples, and also like to present you one of our lapel pins. We're the first county named after George Washington. He resigned his civilian leadership, military leadership, to become a civilian leader. And September 6th, 2026 will be the 250th birthday of Washington County, as it will be the 250th anniversary of our country on July 4th. So again, congratulations. You wear that pin proud.
We will do pictures afterwards.
Yeah.
So.
Next up is Christian Schrader. Christian goes to Smithsburg Middle School. Scholastically, Christian has been accepted into the Gifted and Talented Education Program as well as the National Junior Honor Society. He learned the value of community service in the Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts. He has volunteered with the nonprofit group Sleep in Heavenly Peace. Christian is very involved in band and the marching band, and he has accomplished all this over the last few years and during 2 major surgeries, making him an inspiration to all who know him. I present to you Christian Schrader.
Hey, Chris.
How old are you, Christian? How old are you?
I'm 12.
12. Okay. Well, congratulations, young man. This is an honor to meet you. Okay. Your parents here?
Yeah, they're right there.
Well, this is a certificate of recognition presented to Christian Schrader. We, the Board of County Commissioners of Washington County, do hereby recognize you for the outstanding achievement of being selected as a recipient of the May 2024 Youth Meritorious Award, Smithsburg Middle School. Your academic accomplishments, humanitarian efforts, and extracurricular activities are to be commended by both parents and students in Washington County. You have proven to be a superior role model. We congratulate you on your achievements and wish you the best in all your future endeavors. Awarded this 14th day of May, signed by all 5 Washington County Commissioners. So. Okay, you're lucky.
All right, next up, we have Torin Malott. Torin Malott attends Barbara Ingram School for the Arts. And Torin, having more than one nomination, has volunteered with more nonprofit and community organizations than I have time to mention. I will give you the adjectives, words, and phrases used in the 8 nominations described here to describe Torin. Responsible, well-rounded, funny, bright, kind, outgoing, charismatic, team player, outstanding student and person, involved, cares deeply for his community, active community volunteer, and strong leadership potential. I am certain we will be seeing great things from this remarkable young man for many years to come. I give you Torin Malott.
Hey. Hey, going to Torin, you're all that, aren't you? You just got it all. Is your family here?
Yeah, so I am my photo cinema teacher
Oh.
at BESFA.
You got a whole crew here. And what was your special, what, you have a special talent at Barbara Ingram?
Yes, I'm a photographer
Oh,
and
photographer.
student filmmaker.
Oh, okay. Future politician too, I think already. Well, we have a certificate for you, for Torin. We, the Board of County Commissioners of Washington County, do hereby recognize you for the astounding achievement of being selected as a recipient of the May 2024 Youth Meritorious Award, Barbara Ingram School for the Arts. Your academic accomplishments, humanitarian efforts, and extracurricular activities are to be commended by both parents and students in Washington County. You have proven to be a superior role model. We congratulate you on your achievements and wish you the best in all future endeavors. Award is 14th day of May 2024. Thank you, Torin. You did good, buddy. You did good. You have a Staples here on the back, a gift card. As soon as I find one, here you go, buddy. Hey, thank you for everything you do.
No problem, we'll get some pictures with the commissioners and your family.
We'll do commissioners, then we can put in favor. You 3 in the center. You're the high.
Thank you.
We got one of the 3.
Yep, let's just
The
do.
3 alone, and the
Yep.
family can come up.
We just stay right there, good, take a picture after. You wanna bring your parents, or?
Yeah, my family should come up now to get pictures if they so choose.
Two step aside.
Don't break the camera.
So.
Alright, ready?
That's my daughter's son. About that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next. Go ahead.
Is this your mom and dad?
Oh, that's great. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Don't have to say a lot.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Apologize, I was late. Yeah, I apologize, I was
No, we're kind of out of order. We next.
I think we're going back to.
No, we're going back to Bruce now.
Coming over here, he's.
Okay, you want me, okay, are you departing? Okay. All right, we're going to get back to our regular agenda, and I think we have Mr. Bruce Bariano here to present. Mr. Bariano, welcome. Good day to you.
Apologize, I was a few minutes late. I didn't inconvenience you all.
But you hit traffic?
Yeah,
on
yes, I
70?
did, sir. Yes, I
Well, we
did.
probably need 70 widened too, don't we?
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. You know. For the record, Bruce Bariano, registered lobbyist for the Washington County Commissioners. And I, again, would like to thank all of you greatly for the privilege and opportunity to be your lobbyist during the legislative session and year in Annapolis and relative to state government. I appreciate that very greatly. I worked very closely with your two senators and your delegates throughout the session representing Washington County, making myself available to them to assist them in any way for the benefit of Washington County and to keep track of matters. As you know, this session adjourned April 8th. This Thursday will be the last bill signing day for the governor. All of the bills have been signed. There is no indication yet what bills, if any, he will be vetoing, but I don't think any of them necessarily fall in the category of great concern to the commissioners. Hopefully you received not only weekly but finally the tracking chart that I sent you to keep you abreast of bills that at least I'd rather think broader than may be necessary, that I think would be of interest to Washington County, either by mentioning Washington County specifically in the legislation or legislation relating to counties, county authority or county relationships, which obviously would include Washington County. But I can just go over a few items, and of course, please interrupt me, ask me any questions you want. I'll be happy to address them to the best of my ability. There was the constitutional amendment and legislation introduced by Delegate Bochat from Carroll County, which I know concerned quite a number of counties. That legislation had a hearing. I did testify against it very politely and diplomatically, and both the constitutional amendment and the legislation did not get out of committee at all. The delegate, former Carroll County Commissioner, has let me know that he will be reintroducing these two bills next session. I don't say this in an arrogant, flippant way. It's his prerogative. He's a legislator. He can introduce them. I will, of course, watch them very carefully and act accordingly as you direct. But I would not be worried or concerned about them, and I say that very sincerely. The bills had a hearing because that's the process, but they had no serious consideration. Everyone in Annapolis knows that if a particular county, not just Washington County, desires to change its form of government, that has the ability to do so without Annapolis directing that. So I just wanted to bring that up. Another bill which I know caused a lot of concern to some of the Washington County legislators and some of my other clients that was defeated was the legislation that would have organizationally revamped MSTAT, the Maryland assessment process, would have created regional offices, not an office in every county as the current law requires. And that would have created great inconvenience and difficulty to the citizens and folks in this county. If they wanted to go there and communicate with them, it would have made it much more difficult. And that legislation was heard. I did testify against it on behalf of a number of counties, and that legislation was defeated. I don't think you'll see that legislation anymore. That was the idea of the former director of MSTAT, Mr. Hicks. As some of you may know, he is no longer employed in state government. The governor removed him and put someone else in there in acting capacity. So I don't think that legislation will be seen again. It was very controversial throughout the state with all the counties, not just Washington County. As you know, your alcoholic beverage bills, were passed, and that all went very satisfactorily. Just looking here, I would say that as the Washington County Board of Education members, the residency requirement, that legislation did pass. The abandoned cemetery acquisition and disposition legislation did not pass at all. Let me stop here and answer any questions you may have. I know there were some other bills that I just assisted your legislators with as they were doing their work, trying to be of help to them in a general way that would make them that much more successful and effective, as they already are with the legislative session. And happy primary day to everybody.
Mr. Veriano, thank you for being here again. As you weren't here, but we were talking about our meeting with Governor Moore on Friday at the training center.
Right.
One of the things I mainly stressed to him, since we were at the training center and he had been there and worked out and toured it, in our conversation with him, he said the folks that are training there are the cream of the crop of Washington County, our residents who are, whether they're career volunteers out there at the facility training. And one of the things I mentioned to him, and maybe in your future conversations with him or anyone, that it's just not a local cream of the crop, it's regional people that we're training the skills to be first responders. But one of the main emphasis I did say to the governor, that we're not only training them to be first responders and help with services to the people, but we're also training them to return home alive. And that is very important for our first responders, as they are the cream of the crop of our community with their spirit for service. That's important that that training center is there, teaching them the skills to come home alive to serve again. So in any of your travels or conversations with the legislature in the future, be sure to emphasize that point.
I will do that. I will be with the governor this Thursday, and
and I did extend an offer to him to come bicycle ride with John Barr and I. So please remind him of that, because Washington County, the C&O Canal was beautiful yesterday. It was majestic. But on a serious note, the training center funding for everything we need there is important.
I saw his press release thereafter. I was aware of that and what he said. I will definitely follow up with him. I'll see him this Thursday, and we'll mention
He
that.
also made a statement, and Commissioner Barr mentioned it, and I did in our commissioner comments, that 81, the second phase will get done. He'll make it happen. So, and remind him of that as well, politely.
I hope in our lifetimes. I really do. I will do that. I know it's of absolute, long-time critical importance to this county.
And as you
Traveled
witness,
that road
as you
myself.
witness, 70s on should be on the list too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I've traveled it myself. Next session, not trying to take up all your time, next session is going to be very challenging to everybody. There's going to be a tremendous pressure to increase taxes and fund various projects. And it depends how the governor's going to present that and lead that.
Was there any new legislation passed that would affect gun rights or Second Amendment, that would affect our Washington County or Western Maryland?
Or any submitted that might have
No,
traction.
there was, just give me one second.
SB 1 is still in court, right?
Right, yes, it is, yes, it is, yes, it is. And there was one bill, just give me a moment, please.
You can get back to me if you don't want to search for it now.
Yeah, I will do that.
Okay,
I will
that's
do
fine.
that, Commissioner. The answer is no, but I want to double check that to be, and I'll email you promptly on that, okay? And on the right to carry. Will do.
Or anything that would affect the Second Amendment rights, yeah.
Yes, yes, sir.
Commissioner Harvey, you have
Yeah,
something?
sir, just two quick questions, if I may. I don't think there were any bills, but I wanted to get your read on where you think the legislature may be going on these two issues. You know, as far as police rights and Bill of Rights, the governor mentioned that, you know, there's a challenge in recruitment and retention and the importance of having good policing. But the environment has been negative towards the police force since we passed, you know, legislation earlier that undercut policing and took away some of their protections and also made it more difficult to prosecute criminals, especially those that are considered juveniles, and it's opened up a very large problem. So is there any movement to recalibrate that so that we can get more balance and, you know, a better environment and work environment for our police so we can better recruit? Is there any discussion on that? And how about making criminals more accountable? Is there any discussion on that?
There was a great deal of discussion about that this past session, and there are two very significant issues that I feel personally as well. Unfortunately, the balance has not changed as to police rights and respect and significance. All jurisdictions, not just police, but even correctional officers, are suffering enormously with shortages. Notwithstanding that, unfortunately, I mean, to answer your question, there has not been sufficient conversation about that. Delegate Bill Folden from Frederick County, who's a police officer his whole career in the military as well, has spoken very actively about that being on the Senate Judicial Proceedings.
But in the majority party, is there?
In the majority party, no, there has not been. And I say this to you, and I mean it. I'll be happy to work with you, and I mean it. I'm not just saying it. Between now and then, we could try and instigate and set up some meetings and conversations with some key people from the majority party to try and raise that to a greater level of importance and action. But candidly to you, that there's not been. There hasn't.
Now, I may be wrong, and I'll paraphrase what I think I heard from the governor, that increasing pay and benefits will not address the challenge of increasing recruitment and retention of police officers. There has to be some other things. I think that's what he
I
said.
think he mentioned also work conditions and whether you being accepted or received or
So
very important.
that's one area, and the other area deals with immigration.
Before you go to, and on that, there needs to be statements by, not just the governor, I'm not being critical, or even other significant officials, of the critical importance of police and law enforcement.
And just let the facts be out there, okay?
Yeah, I mean,
That would be fine. The other issue that impacts all of us is immigration. And it's impacting our schools, it's impacting social services, it's impacting law enforcement and crime, even auto insurance rates. You know, people driving without proper insurance, licensing, et cetera. I had an accident last week where, you know, a person without the right documentation, insurance, and immigrant of some status ran into my vehicle head-on, okay? So, but it raises costs for everybody in indirect ways. Any discussion there about, you know, addressing this issue, because it affects housing, it affects our schools, it affects our budgets, it affects law enforcement, it affects everybody in one way or another, directly or indirectly.
I fully understand, and I personally agree with you. There has been no discussion, or there was no legislation that prompted hearings or discussions, you know, in that regard, in Annapolis. Again, a lot of the discussions, as you well know, that go on are instigated by legislation introduced, and legislators talk among themselves, and you, of course, have public hearings and stuff like that. And again, I'd be happy to work with the commissioners in trying to get such legislation in these two areas so that there can be proper discussion both.
But it's really going to have to come from the majority party. So, okay, thank you.
I don't disagree with you, I really don't.
Bruce, just a question I might have. I know it's not directly related to the General Assembly, but all government is intertwined. The Maryland Board of Public Works, I think this is their second year with all 3 new members, the governor, the comptroller, the state treasurer, and I know that's kind of a rare occurrence. Any thoughts on how they're operating, how local government may be impacted by the money for projects that they provide, and just with the state's budget, you know, forecast for the next year or so? Any thoughts there?
Commissioner, I attend in person every single meeting of the Board of Public Works, whether I have a client with an agenda on there or not. And I've been doing that for quite a number of years. I think the 3 of them are working very well together. Unlike other board memberships, and I'm not being critical, I'm just responding to your questions. There's a tremendous emphasis to have unanimity in their votes and their decision-making. But they're much more efficient. The meetings are not as long as they used to be. There's not been a lot of discussion about local government or impacts other than there have been comments of a complimentary way as to grants and payments that are made either through the Department of General Services or through other programs that need Board of Public Works mentioned. The members indicate their pleasure with various items and stuff like that. But they've been very open and accessible. I've worked very closely with the staffs of the three of them. The lead staff person, some of you may know because he was Peter Francho's chief of staff when Peter Francho was controller, is Manny Welsh, who is the governor's head person on the Board of Public Works. They set the agenda, they control the agenda, and he's very seasoned in state government, very approachable and accessible, very straightforward, he really is. If there are any particular, you know, I do watch them when I see that there are items that are on there from Washington County. I mean, you know, I do communicate back whether they've been approved or not. And of course, if there is an item, if you want me to send you in advance items that are on there relative to Washington County, I'm very happy to do so. So you know about it, and if you felt that you'd want to speak up at it or monitor it in any particular way, I know how to do that, and I'm happy to do that, and I'm there, you know, anyway. But they're working well together. They really are. The one who's really, and then I'll stop. I don't mean to be so long-winded. I apologize. The one who's been really stepped into the role of real watching the dollars has been Derek Davis, former legislator from Prince George County, who was the state treasurer. And he has really why I found it very interesting, watching the dollars, how they're spent.
Thank you.
But do let me know, Commissioner, if there's anything further you want me to do on that.
Any other questions for Mr. Briano? Good. Sir, thank you. Be safe in your
Again,
travels.
thank you very much for the honor and the privilege. I will follow up, and very happy. And I'll just say, to the extent some of you are coming to Mako, for example, I can set up some meetings, everyone's in one place at one time. Please feel free to follow up with me on any of these matters if you want. I'm very happy and willing to do so. Thanks again. Have a very good day.
Thank you, Bruce. Thank you, sir. All right, returning back to our 10 a.m. agenda item. Next on the agenda is a public hearing concerning the 2024 Agricultural Land Preservation District applications. The purpose of this hearing is to hear public comment concerning the matter. The procedure is as follows. We will first have staff introduce the matter, after which the hearing will be open for public comment and testimony. Each speaker will be given a maximum of 3 minutes to testify. After everyone who wishes to speak has done so, the hearing will close. Mr. Boggs, the Rural Preservation Administrator, will you now introduce the matter?
Good morning, Commissioners. Chris Boggs, Rural Preservation Administrator, Department of Planning and Zoning. The Agricultural Land Preservation District Program is one of the oldest programs we have in the county. It dates back to our first districts were in 1990, and originally it was a program that was run by the state. In 2012, the state ceded over power for the districts to the counties. Many counties just dissolved the program, but Washington County and a few others decided to retain the program because we thought it was a great benefit to our agricultural operators and farmers in the county. The Ag District Agreement and the Ag District Program is a voluntary program for farm owners to get in the program, and the purpose of the program is to give tax credits to these agricultural operators. In return for them committing to a 10 or 5 year agricultural land preservation district and keeping their property in agriculture for those time periods. The tax credits work as essentially there are taxes levied on an agricultural component and a residential component on each large parcel of land in the county. They will receive 100% tax credit on that ag component and up to $696 off of their residential component. This tax credit is in the form of taxes not collected. So they don't actually won't receive a check, but they won't pay essentially as much in their county tax liability. This does not affect their state taxes. The Ag District Program has a set of requirements that are prerequisites to get into the program. First, you have to be located in the rural area, so it would be our ag, rural zoning, preservation zoning, or environmental conservation zoning districts. Additionally, you can't be inside any growth areas or municipalities. The property has to be at least 50 acres in size unless it is contiguous to another ag district or permanent easement. Then it can be as small as 20 acres. And the property has to be at least 50% class 1, 2, and 3 soils. So this year we have 24 applicants for the Ag District Program, and they are essentially the way it works is it's going to be about, it comes to roughly $12 per acre per year for each overarching all the ag districts. This year we have a total of 2,822 acres that is made up of these 24 applicants, and that's going to be a roughly $33,000, $34,000 tax credit in total, covering all the properties. Concurrently, the Agricultural Land Preservation Advisory Board has approved all these ag districts in its meeting earlier this year. The recommended motion from staff and the Ag Board is to approve the 10-year ag land preservation districts for fiscal year 2020. Any questions?
Does that conclude your presentation?
Yes, that concludes my
Okay.
presentation.
We will now open the hearing for public comment. Anyone wishing to comment, please come forward and give us your name and address. Tell us what you'd like to hear. Seeing no one coming forward. Commissioners, do you have any questions?
I have just one comment, Commissioner Klein. I have a family member on the list, so I'll abstain from the vote.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, any good questions more from the commissioners? The public hearing is now concluded. Commissioners, your comments, deliberations, what would you like to do? There's three of us here that can vote.
I just vote on it.
Is that a motion?
Motion to approve.
Okay, I have a first and a second to approve the 10-year plan. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Wayne, thank you for your abstention. 3-0, please. Thank you very much. Our next agenda item will be the 10:50 a.m. Agenda item. If commissioners are ahead of schedule, but if you like, we can go ahead and move forward with that.
It's fine.
All right. Next on the agenda, the 2024 Emergency Management Performance Grant. Cody, please come forward and introduce yourself in the matter.
Cody Swope, Emergency Management.
Richard Lesh, Grant Manager, Office of Grant Management. So today we are here to request a motion to approve the submission of the fiscal year 2024 Emergency Management Performance Grant to the Maryland Department of Emergency Management in the amount of $92,439.96 and accept the funding as awarded. The purpose of the Emergency Management Performance Grant Program is to provide federal funds to states to assist state and local, tribal, and territorial emergency management agencies in obtaining the resources required to support the national preparedness goals associated with the areas and core capabilities. Maryland Department of Emergency Management is expected to award the county $92,439.96, which will fund the emergency management planner's salary and allow emergency management personnel to attend all hazard incident management training. The Office of Grant Management has reviewed the grant guidelines. The performance period of this federal grant is from October 1st, 2024 through August 31st, 2027. There is a 100% match required for this grant, which will be accomplished by using the director's emergency management salary as in-kind services. As I understand, there's not a director at this time, but by October 1st, I think they plan on having.
Okay. We do have concurrence of the Director of Grant Management. There's no fiscal impact other than you mentioned some in-kind services. That's it. No money match from us.
Well, the money match would be the salary.
Yes, but not extra beyond that. Commissioners, thoughts, comments, motion to approve?
Yeah, I just had one question, just curious question, if nothing else. So there's, what, 280,000 worth of grant? Well, I'm jumping the horse, but is that every year? Do we get these every year to help supplement, or?
We do. We get this every year. It's been coming in for quite a number of years. It does pay for a substantial portion of our emergency management department.
Okay.
We did receive a cut in both grants this year. In this grant, we received $10,000 or $10,485.53 in cuts. And the next grant we're going to do, we received a $15,282 cut.
Okay, so they're getting cut too.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'd motion to approve.
Is there a second? Any discussion?
I do have one question for staff. Is there a way for us to get a breakout of what we get in grant as part of our annual budget by broad categories like agriculture, emergency services writ large, generally, just so we have an idea of if we
Yeah.
have,
We can get that for you.
yeah.
And we can
What are
also.
we relying on every year?
Correct. I can get that for you.
Federal government and state government, and then that would give us an idea of potential vulnerabilities down the road.
Yeah, because if the grants we just heard, that you're getting, this one and the next one we're going to listen to getting cut, so we could be caught, if there's a massive cuts in the state government or federal, wherever, we operate off this, it sounds like. I agree.
Okay, gentlemen, I have first and second. Any other discussion?
No, thank you.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, 4-0. Next on the agenda, State Homeland Security Grant. Welcome Cody Swope and Richard back again. Introduce yourself in the matter.
Richard Lesh, Grant Manager, Office of Grant Management.
Cody Swope, Emergency Management.
We are here today to request a motion to approve the submission of the fiscal year 2024 State Homeland Security Grant to the Maryland Department of Emergency Management in the amount of $187,320.06 and accept the funding as awarded. The State Homeland Security Grant Program is administered by the Federal Emergency Management Agency and passes through the Maryland Department of Emergency Management to be distributed to local jurisdictions. The program is intended to enhance, maintain current Homeland Security initiatives as they pertain to prevention, preparedness, response, recovery, and mitigation. The grant will pay a partial salary for the emergency management specialist, the cost of the Washington County Citizen Notification Software annual fees, and a part-time position within Washington County Sheriff's Office for incident management team coordination and projects, and other costs which include training equipment and response capabilities. The Office of Grant Management has reviewed these guidelines. The performance period for the federal grant is September 1, 2024 through August 31 of 2027. There is no matching fund requirement associated with this grant. However, at least 35% of the grant funds must be spent on law enforcement-related tasks or equipment because it is by the Homeland Security.
Commissioners, comments, thoughts? Motion?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second? Second. I have a first and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. 4-0. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is CVS programs. Mr. Rose, please come forward and introduce yourselves and the topic.
Morning again. Chip Rose, Director of Human Resources.
Jason Miller, Benefits Coordinator, Human Resources.
Jason and I are here today to discuss a national concern in relation to prescription drugs and an initiative that's been launched by our partner CVS, which may impact the employees here in Washington County. Last year, drug manufacturers spent over $3.5 billion on the top 10 brand name prescription drugs. Over the past couple of years, there's been a troubling trend of drug companies that are marketing their drugs so well that employees and Americans in general have lost sight of the conditions those drugs were originally approved to treat. So that brings us to the two programs we want to talk about today. One is called ProLogic, and the other one is called Biosimilar. I'll let Jason talk about the first one.
Okay, so basically, in January of '24, we started a new initiative, CVS ProLogic. Ozempic was approved by the FDA to treat diabetes. It works by binding receptors and stimulating insulin release from the pancreas. As a side effect, many patients lose weight while on the medication. So much so, tens of thousands of prescriptions have been issued to patients without diabetes, presumably for weight loss. The FDA has warned the medical risks for non-diabetic patients are significant. They include things such as chronic gastrointestinal issues, kidney failure, liver failure, increased risk of infections. ProLogic initiative will deny new prescriptions for employees without a history of diabetes and require a physician's approval to confirm the diagnosis of diabetes. We currently do not approve any weight loss drugs through our formulary with Washington County.
The second program that I wanted to introduce to you, and we'll take your questions afterwards, is called the CVS Biosimilar Program. And this is kind of being used to address expensive drugs. Humira, as an example, was approved by the FDA to treat a broad spectrum of inflammatory diseases like rheumatoid arthritis and other illnesses like Crohn's disease. AbbVie, which is the manufacturer, announced that Humira was the country's top-selling drug in 2023. It sold over $20 billion worth of Humira. And as a reward, they're raising their prices for Humira another 8% in 2024. There are 9 biosimilar drugs, which essentially means they have the same ingredients, the same recipe, if you will. Those active ingredients are the same for the biosimilar drugs as Humira, and they cost about 15 to 20% of the cost of Humira. However, they lack the marketing engine that AbbVie has. CVS is going to recommend biosimilar drugs to any new Humira prescription patient. Again, CVS will require a physician's authorization to confirm either the original prescription for Humira or one of those biosimilars. Just as a financial case in point, Humira costs roughly $7,000 a month. I can't say these. Julio and Saltazesco, which are 2 of the biosimilars, are roughly $800 to $1,200 per month, or roughly 20% of that cost. So these 2 programs you might hear about, so you might possibly hear about some employee that would call you and say, HR is denying my prescription for X, Y, or Z, and that's not the case. We're not denying prescriptions. We're trying to get them to use other drugs that might be more reasonable or more feasible or more cost efficient.
The reason the recipe is the same is because there's a law after so many years, a generic or something can be also
They have a
prepared.
patent for a certain
That
period of
time
time
has
and after
elapsed.
that, got it. Yeah.
Okay.
So essentially, the same ingredients, the same recipe is available at a significantly discounted price, but most employers don't know the names of those drugs because they don't have the marketing behind them.
So basically, you're asking us to approve the moving forward of CVS not to use less expensive drugs that have the same recipe and not to prescribe weight loss, diabetes medicine that people are using for weight loss.
I don't think we really have a choice. He's just letting you know that this change is happening by CVS for your awareness and for your support of the program. And
There's
so
no vote.
that employees are aware.
I'd recommend a motion that just says this is for awareness and support. You're not calling for a motion.
We're not calling for it, but we're just making you aware that if you were to hear from an employee that said, hey, my prescription Humira was denied, I can't believe HR would do that, just know that's really not what's happening. It's a CVS program, not an HR program from Washington County.
And our health prescription plan runs every 3 years of the contract. Is that how we do that, or?
It's every 4 years.
Every 4, when's that
4
up for
years.
review again?
Yeah.
Soon?
When's it up for review again?
Next July.
Next July.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. This makes complete sense. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Any other questions? Hearing none, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you both.
On the agenda, a quotation award, police vehicle, Rick Curry. Thank you, sir. Please introduce yourself in the matter.
Rick Curry, Director of Purchasing. Before you is a quotation award Q 24-779, police vehicle equipment for Washington County Sheriff's Office. Recommended motion, move to award the quotation for the police vehicle equipment to responsive bidder, Global Public Safety of Hanover, Maryland, who submitted the responsive total lump sum of $61,859 for items 1 through 22. The equipment will be installed on vehicles that were approved by the board back in January of 2024. Code of Public Law states that contract over $50,000 for purchases or expenditures shall be awarded by the board to the lowest responsible bidder who submits a responsive bid. Requests for quotations are processed for purchase of commodities and services not exceeding $50,000, normally awarded at the departmental level in occurrences with the purchasing department. Due to the recommendation awarded the call for the equipment exceeding $50,000, the quotation is before the board for an award. It was not anticipated the service would exceed the $50,000. So normally you would not see these because it normally gets awarded between the purchasing department and using department. You can see the fiscal impact. There are funds available for this, and there's Global's quote attached. Questions?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Have first and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
4-0, thank you.
And before we move on to that one, I just wanted to point out and remind the board that effective October the 1st, legislation was introduced on behalf of Washington County to change that threshold, requiring board approval from $50,000 to $100,000. That'll become effective October the 1st. For vehicles only, I'm sorry.
Mr. Curry, I think you're up on the next agenda item. It's for the contract award, Oracle Fusion Consultant Services. Please introduce yourselves and the matter.
Director of Purchasing.
Bill Brown, County Supervisor, Budget and Finance.
Angie Poffenberger, Deputy Director, Budget and Finance, Software Support and Training.
The subject for you is contract award PUR 1677, Oracle Fusion Consultant Service Requirements Contract, Budget and Finance Department. Recommended motion move to award a primary requirements contract for Oracle Fusion Consultant Services for use by Budget and Finance Human Resource Information Systems to Metaformers Incorporated of Reston, Virginia, for the responsible proposal with the lowest price proposal amount of $38,000, a specific unit cost and estimated hours, which are no guarantee for minimum and maximum hours, and as permitted in the request for proposal to award a standby of consultant contract to Cherry Road Technology Incorporated of Morris Plains, New Jersey, at their specific unit cost and estimated hours, which are no guarantee for minimum and maximum number of hours. Service under this contract consists of functional and technical staff with planning, prioritization, implementation of new and existing functionality, budgeting, financials, purchasing, transactional business intelligence, project financial, self-service procurement, human capital management, base, payroll, and time labor as needed basis. Duration of contract shall be for a 2-year period with an option by the county to renew up to 3 additional 1-year periods. This is a requirement contract, therefore service will be utilized on an as-needed basis at the respective hourly unit rates for each discipline with no guarantee or maximum or minimum number of hours. You can see how the contracts will be awarded as is listed in the RF. The notice of the RFP was advertised as normal in the regular websites and also in the local newspaper. You can see the number of individuals who attended the pre-conference, who downloaded the document, and the number of firms who submitted proposals, and also who sat on the coordinating committee, and the fiscal impact. There is funding for this project, and the concurrences by the coordinating committee. Are there any questions?
These are like technical, pardon me.
Go ahead. I have one question. In your text, in your recommended motion, it says the price proposal is $38,000, but the bid tab says $39,800. Which number is correct?
I would say that I have a, wait a minute. I would go with 39,800.
39,800?
Yes, ma'am. I would go with 39,800.
39,800. Okay, thank you.
Just off the
My
tab
question, these
sheet.
are like technical services behind the scenes to make this as consultant, for consultant work. Okay, Commissioners, any questions? Hearing none, is there a motion to support with the corrected amount, 39,800?
I make the motion
Is there a
to
second?
support it.
Second.
I have first and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, the Washington County Career Expo recap. And that is Jonathan, and
I texted him. Let me go give him a call. Oh, here he comes.
here he comes.
Well, it's about time.
Jonathan, welcome. Please introduce yourself in the matter.
Jonathan Horowitz, the Director of Business and Economic Development. Really sorry, we had the HCC team scheduled to show up 45 minutes early, but we're way
Do
further ahead.
we want to take a 15-minute break so that
Yeah, we can,
HCC can
if
be
you want the
here?
HCC team here, we.
I would like to have gotten a picture with them.
Yeah, let's take a 15-minute
Let's take a
break.
break.
Okay, that
Okay.
works.
Go into recess.
Thank you, appreciate that.
right, everyone, welcome back. Mr. Horowitz, would you come forward and introduce subject and the matter? It's the Washington County Career Expo recap. Start.
Jonathan Horowitz, Director of Business and Economic Development. I appreciate the small break there while we waited on our HCC team to show up. This is a presentation to recap the outcome of a partnership with Hagerstown Community College and Washington County on career expos. 2 events were held, and this, as a reminder to the board, was utilizing ARPA grant funding that was earmarked for workforce development. So these were 2 career expo events that were held at the ARC Center at Hagerstown Community College, one in November of 2023, one in April of 2024. This event was a successful partnership and had some really great outcomes. So I wanted to make sure that the board understood some of the data that came out of this event here and for your investment. In November, at the Career Expo, there were 140 business vendors with 300 representatives in attendance. Over 500 job seekers attended that event. So that was a really great outcome in terms of job seekers. And then in April, to even better ourselves, 170 organizations were displaying as employers, represented by 342 representatives, and over 787 job seekers showed up to that event. So just wanted to sort of state to the board, in a time where job markets can be competitive and relatively quickly changing, the opportunity to network and engage face-to-face with employers can be an invaluable experience, as well as bringing through some of several hundred, actually, of the WCPS students to show them what career potentials they may have in Washington County, also highlighting some alternative pathways to success other than simply going to college. So in total, these 2 events in partnership between Washington County and HCC had participants just shy of 2,000 participants. That includes the employers and the attendees. So quite an event. Really, Washington County and our Department of Business Development could not have handled this project with our limited staff. So we wanted to thank HCC for the partnership and workforce development. And behind me here, I have HCC's team with us today. So I wanted to go ahead and publicly thank Dr. Klauber for allowing his team to participate in this partnership. We have Miss Laura Scafidi, and she was the primary project manager for this. And in attendance today, we have Maureen Kolb. She was thank you very much. We have Janelle Devers and Teresa Shank. And so thank you, Teresa Shank, for also allowing your staff to participate. A couple other helpers that I want to mention their name that weren't able to make the meeting today are Dr. Christine Olgelati and Jackie Spong were also on HCC's side. So they weren't able to make the meeting today, but wanted to make sure their names were mentioned and thanked, as well as my team, Linda Spence, Carmen Harbaugh, Michelle Dwyer, and Tanya Davis all made these 2 events possible. And we have Dr. Christine Olgelati just came in behind me. So thank you, Dr. Olgelati, for your help with the Career Expos. And are there any questions from?
Go ahead, Jeff.
How about Dr. Klauber come up and make a few comments since you're here, sir?
I'd also like to recognize Tony Parks from Human Resources, who manned the county's booth and represented the county.
Yes, thank you to Tony for representing the county at the HR booth. She said she had some really good turnout, too. Included in your packets for the commissioners' data review, just wanted to show that there's a report with all the data here, but one piece of data that I wanted to call out publicly, approximately how many job seekers did the employers meet at the event? Almost half of the employers engaged or interviewed with more than 30 participants. I thought that was really amazing, that each person that had a booth there as an employer had the opportunity to engage with over 30 citizens that were interested in looking for a job. So very successful event. So I just want to thank the board for that. Dr. Klauber?
Dr. Klauber?
Well, thank you, Commissioners. I didn't plan to say anything today, but
We'll give you 30 seconds.
I would like to commend our folks at HCC. Laura Scafidi, she took this thing on and ran with it, and then the folks in Workforce Solutions Continuing Education also
jumped on board, and this has been, it was a Herculean effort on their part, because they're doing this in addition to all the other work that they're doing at the college, and so it really went well, and it was great to partner with Jonathan and the Office of Economic Development on putting this together. And then ultimately the second one, the spring one, we were able to get Dr. Sovine and WCPS engaged and have them bring some of their high school, I guess, juniors and seniors over from some of the high schools to get some career awareness. And, you know, our students benefit from this too, and I know I'm gonna keep it 30 seconds, maybe 30 seconds times 2. Our students benefit from this because we have a lot of students that they're there and they're taking credit courses, but maybe they're general studies majors, or they haven't really figured out what they want to do. And this, I mean, it's one thing, you're lucky if you come in, you say, I want to be a nurse, I'm going to go to nursing school, I'm going to go work at Meredith, that's what I'm going to do. They got it all planned out. There's a significant percentage that don't have it planned out. And they can come in there and meet with those employers and figure out a career path that they want to do. They can then take that general studies major and divert that into a direction where they want to go. And so that's very beneficial for our college community. And so, you know, we'd like to keep doing this as much as we can on a limited budget. I don't know that we'll all ever have the federal money that we had this past time, but I think it is beneficial to the community and to the college and our students as well.
Thank you. I think we saw Mr. Druger come in.
I just want to mention Jack Druger publicly here. He was also a big help.
So I want to acknowledge Paul Fry. I think I saw you right there walking around, so thank you for your efforts in support of that as well.
And board, I'd just like to mention that we would like to keep this event going and this partnership going. So we are in discussions with HCC about planning this event for next year as well too. And so there may be a request coming from my department.
You know what?
Comments?
Yeah, I was able to attend in April, and I tell you, it was just, I was really had a ball. Not complain, I haven't had to park up in the upper parking lot. I had to walk, you know, 600 yards, which is.
Suggesting the commissioners supply shuttle?
I think Dr. Clobber supplies a shuttle for old people. But, no, the staff was amazing. Everybody, I've recognized some that were there. I spent an hour and a half there, and it, you know, I talked about every vendor. I mean, they were just, if you were looking for a career or a job or anything, and maybe a pathway to what you want to do in the future, and I saw a lot of students there too. And that would have been the place to be, because
it really was a centralized resource.
They had, you know, some pretty good vendors there. I mean, they were all good, but some that opportunities for life. So yeah, I thought it was great. Yeah, so.
Very good. Well, thank you for your support for that.
Any other comments? If not, we get the team up here for a photograph to recognize you.
Thank you very much. We have the full team here. I just want to mention Jackie Spong's name out loud. She was also an integral part of the team.
Yeah, can we make two? Yeah, let's have
Aren't they HCC?
Yeah, let's have this now. HCC, yeah, there you go.
There we go.
You good? Just tell me where. I don't want to be blocking their choice.
No, not that lucky. You are tall.
Sure. Let's balance it out a little bit. Okay, that's good. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
How about just the HCC people up here? Just the HCC people?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Absolutely. Thank you very much. I want to get any job offers.
And we do have a golf cart.
He's getting a job offer.
If you need assistance with mobility.
Did you get any job offers since you spent an hour and a half?
Yeah, everybody wanted it. Still pending, thank you.
To be the judge.
Just HCC people for one.
Okay. Find the window, okay, here we go.
Since he can't go anywhere.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
It couldn't have been a better partner.
It was perfect.
We're going to be.
This all started with Linda and I at coffee at Brooks House.
Remember, commissioners, I'll also let you know, if you're not doing anything tomorrow night, we've got workforce graduation tomorrow night. So that's always the best, that's actually one of the best events we have during graduation week. So come out and join us. Yeah.
Sure.
Jack, it's 7 o'clock, workforce. 6 o'clock at Kepler. Kepler.
I'm so sorry from last week. Thank you.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next on our agenda is our closed session. Motion to go into closed session.
Motion to go into closed session.
First and second, any discussion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.